You're listening to the Media Man Dan Podcast. Promoting people with passion all over the globe. Interviews every weekend. Album reactions every month. This is your host, Media Man Dan. Let's rock! What's up, guys, and welcome back to the Media Man Dan Podcast. It is so great to have you guys here with me for another amazing interview. Today, I have an incredible band, some local legends for you today, called Broken Robots, an absolutely amazing band that is funkadelic. They are fresh, they are new, they are everything you ever want to hear in modern music, and I absolutely love their brand new album that just came out called The Great American Struggle, which you guys can find in the description right down below. Welcome to the podcast. All you guys are amazing. I am so honored to have you here with me. How you guys doing today?
All right.
Great.
Good.
Thanks, Dan.
Hyped.
Yeah, we're ready.
Love that intro.
Yeah, that was
sick.
That was intense.
That got me jacked.
Yeah. I feel like I just had an energy drink.
It's like night and day. It's always, the hype man Dan comes out. All right, so the new album has dropped. It's been a week almost, exactly tomorrow, right? I am so pumped to say that this is one of my favorite albums I've listened to of the year. I am a avid music listener, and I listen to all genres that I possibly can come across, and I would have completely missed you guys had I not been able to actually find you through Anthony, and I want to thank him for once again bringing you guys together with this podcast. We're going to have so much fun. We're going to talk about the whole album, but basically my main question is, what got you started as a band? And that's for Kat and Tony to answer.
We have a very strange beginnings, humble beginning. I was a salesperson, and I had a sales route that I would go on. And on my sales route, there was a homeless guy, and he had a cardboard sign that said, "Hungry, homeless, broke, please help, God bless." And I would give him like dollars and cigarettes sometimes when I would drive by on my sales route. And we became friends that way. After I got comfortable with him, one day I just parked my car nearby and I walked over to him and he was like, "Oh, hey." And I was like, "Hey, why are you here?" And we just kind of talked and started going out for coffee and
I'm the homeless guy.
Yeah.
I was homeless at the time. I was struggling really bad for a while there for like about 7 or 8 years, and I was just like roaming around, living under bridges and stuff and shit.
Yeah.
And that's how her and I met. And then we, like she said, we just started driving around talking about music, and we got in some trouble with each other. Not for too long.
Yeah, that was I think that was all together like 8 months.
Yeah, not even.
It was like such a small, it's crazy because it's like this big loud, like this is how we met. But it's like it was such a small portion of us knowing each other.
Yeah. Yeah, we went through, bout of drug addiction and stuff like that. We got ourselves out of it. We're coming up on 10 years clean, sober off that stuff. And, but one thing that kept us clean and kept us like motivated and focused and on the walking the line properly was music. We started writing songs together, and that first album, Home Is Not a Place, all that, that's really just us holding on and having, a new vice and something, positive to do instead of, being nefarious and being on some bullshit, kind of thing. So yeah, we just wrote that record and just, we really had no intentions we didn't know what was going to happen with it. We weren't planning on like going out and like playing it or anything. We just were having fun. And it was a way for us to, connect, and just, like I said, like, be good people.
Yeah, we had, initially it was just me and Tony, and then we had gotten a bass player, and then we had gotten another bass player, and we were kind of like this laptop guitar band, for a little while. And then Anthony joined. He had reached out to us a couple times telling us like, if you guys need a drummer, let me know. And it just, we had him over and it worked out, and our music has gotten so much better since then. Then we needed a new bass player, and that's when we got Elix, who's not here today, but he's really added a lot to the band. And because of him, we got Audie on keys. So it's like we've really transformed from this like idea into like a really cool thing.
Yeah. And if you want more detail, like Anthony can tell you how he joined the band. Like I don't like to speak for him.
No, my main thing is that you guys were saying that you really sobered up, and it was based on your contribution to, like finding each other, but also finding the love that you both shared, the bond that you created through music really helped you out of the situation that you were in, both the
Yes.
homelessness as well as the drug addiction. It
Well-
created something that was more therapeutic. And I'm really happy to hear that first album did that for you guys, because that's a huge part of life, is to live and learn. And you guys learned in the best way how to break out of those bad vices, like you were saying, and find a healthy way to
And
actually
it's really easy to
express
fall
it.
into like that cliche of like, music saved my life, but it's like it's so legit. It really literally did. Multiple times on this new record too. We've been going through a lot of stuff emotionally and physically, and doing this record has really kept our shit together. So once again, music comes around for the win, kind of thing.
Yeah. So Kat and Tony are the founders. That are the people that you are hearing the most of the voices from. But we also have another person in the back, and that is Adi. He's here with us as well, an amazing keyboardist and part of this incredible band. And then we have Anthony, who is our percussionist that was mentioned a little bit earlier. If you want to say your story, because you have a little bit more to add on to that, you found them, you wanted to give them some percussion. What was it that really drew you to find this band as somebody you wanted to work with?
Multiple things. I mean, first I had seen their name around a little bit, but then I saw an article that they were a part of that pretty much said the story that Kat and Tony just told you. And I thought it was very inspiring and tragically beautiful.
Yeah.
But I thought it was just an amazing story. And then I checked out their music and I was like, oh shit, they're actually good too. And it was a lot of the story that like I could like relate to, just from like people I grew up with and like bad decisions growing up and this and that and this and that. And something that a lot of us, or pretty much all of us in this band, can relate with is how you said music saved your life. Like honestly, that gave me a path as well. Like there are two things that saved my life. It was music and my wife. And
here.
And I mean, hell, like a week before I met her, I like smoked crack. It was like
Yeah.
the whole thing.
It happens to the best of us.
But I, read their story in an article, thought it was awesome, loved their music, and I tried to get them on a show with a previous band of mine, and they were already booked. And so then I started just like deep diving. I listened to all their songs, and then I saw videos of them performing online where instead of a drummer, they had drums playing through a laptop coming out the speakers. So I was like, okay, y'all need a drum.
Yeah, this is not a rap performance by any means.
Yeah.
But you guys actually were diving into some rap territory. There was some rap that Kat was pulling off. I was hearing that on most of the first album.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was very impressed with the Attitude era that you guys were in. I was
Thank
like,
you. Yeah, I
okay.
had Attitude back then for sure. I'm bringing her back. She's still in there. She's just sleeping right now.
There was a few tracks on the new album that also have that. I talked about it. I was like, this is special, but it has given you a lot more perspective as a band, to know that you've had so many different members. And now we can go into Adi's story. How did you end up finding these amazing people?
So I actually ended up meeting these guys again through Alex,
our bassist,
the bass player who's not here right now.
Bass player who definitely wanted to be here but was not available tonight.
Yeah.
You got food poisoning, I think.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
And he definitely feels crappy because he's a trooper. He wouldn't miss out
Yeah.
practice or anything. But I met him there was a local bar in like Wicker Park, Ukrainian Village area called Bourbon on Division, and they were doing an open mic night. My buddy Devin Bates was throwing these like every Wednesday, and I ended up just like showing up there like periodically. I was going there like every week. For a while. I met Alex there with my buddy Nick, and I'm in another band with those guys. Fast forward months later, end up becoming good friends with Alex, obviously. And he's like, oh, another band, obviously New Broken Robots, checked them out. I'm like, oh, this is all really catchy. This could all literally be on the radio. Like, I like this a lot. Like, you said this was like heavy and that I may not like it. Like, this is not heavy. Like, this is all amazing songwriting. And I remember at one point he like sent me the file of the new album before it's released. Like, do not send this to anyone. And I was kind of like listening to it secretly. And I know, like, it was, through Alex, Tony reached out to, they needed piano on one of the tracks while he's finishing up. The album was already pretty much done. And it was on Needle the Thread in the hospital bed. And this was back in the last fall, I think it was. And recorded in here in their home studio here, came by and did the tracks. And again, yeah, fast forward, I guess you guys can say, like, would you want to join and play live and stuff like that? And kind of feeling out the situation. I'm like, yeah, I'm totally it. Like, I'm all about it. Like, and
Never sounded better.
Yeah, that song specifically is what I considered the closest I've heard to Killer Queen by Queen.
Oh wow.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, the structure of it reminded me a lot of that. So I guess the piano would have had that kind of effect on your music overall, is
That's
to
so cool.
get into that territory. Yeah, I know, legendary.
I mean,
Yeah.
any comparison to Queen is a huge win.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
there's also a
awesome.
Brian May style solo at the end of the album. I'll
Oh
talk
yeah,
about that as well.
Yeah.
thank you.
Totally, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm really happy that you guys are all part of this band, and it seems like this is the best direction for all of you. It's not just a side gig like, oh, I have nothing better to do. But you guys are also in side projects as well. I saw that a lot of your Instagrams have many ats underneath the name, and I really love to see that because you're good at time management, you're still part of this band, and you're still focused on this. How did you guys come up with the name Bad Robots, by the way? Bad Robots.
Broken Robots.
Fuck. I swear to God, I'm gonna give the company Bad Robots so much shout outs in
Oh,
this
man.
interview. I did that on the reaction one time. I was like, my bad. Broken
Oh,
Robots.
man.
How did you guys come up with the name Broken Robots?
I don't remember. I
Uh.
have, you know what I have? I have a picture of me and Tony, like holding a whiteboard that says Broken Robots on it from 2017. I'm guessing that was the day that we came up with it. I think we were probably sitting there and just like trying to come up with a name.
We were spouting out names, and I remember one of us said that Broken Robots, and we came back to it, and there was just such a ring to it.
I think we wrote it out on the whiteboard and we were like, does this look right? And we're like, I think it does. And we just took a picture with it. And that was, so
And-
I have that moment.
Yeah, and it has some there's like a metaphor in there.
Yeah,
and,
like, you know, how it's just in this society. It's like,
and where we were at the time too, we were grinding so hard. We were like just shoveling pizza out, being waiters and like working at a pizza place just to pay the bills and to finance the studio, and it was just like barely getting by, and just you kind of felt like a robot, and clearly we're broken people. So, it was like, just made sense.
Well, I'm glad that you guys focused a lot on the robot themes at times. One of my favorite songs, and was my original favorite song, is Mockingbird. Just
Oh,
because
yeah.
of those zeros and ones. I don't know how you memorized that, Cat, but that is one of the hardest choruses to sing along with. But I'm so
Yeah.
happy that I heard it. I was like, I'm
Look.
going to come back to this one because this is crazy.
that was during the pandemic. That's like a pandemic era song. And it's like, I think everybody during that time period in like 2020, like mid 2020, like when you're like, all of a sudden the world stopped and it's like, what do we do? And I think a lot of people kind of like delved into what they do. And I wanted to do something super complex as a vocalist. So I figured out like how exactly what I like the rhythm I wanted. And then I started looking into words that were in the correct rhythm of the binary code. And then it's been a while since I've done it, so I haven't been able to do it. I don't know if I could do it on the spot right now because you have to rehearse it every 01010110110101000011100. See, that's where I lose it right there. So I have to practice it. But
it does mean something. You can decipher
You can
it.
decipher it. Yeah, we had a fan at our show actually who came up to me and was like, "Oh my gosh," she's like, "I have deciphered." And I was like, that's so cool. I'm like, that's your real one. That's the people who do that. There's been a few people who've done that. And I'm like, that's why I wanted to do it. But I needed something to do. And I'm going to memorize a string of binary code. That means something. And it was fun.
That's what COVID was like.
Yeah, that's exactly what
That
COVID was like.
sums it up.
Yeah.
learning a new skill and adapting to something that could seem impossible. That was definitely COVID related. A lot of people were trying new talents and
Yeah.
switching genres. I mean, MGK went from rap straight into pop punk out of absolutely nowhere. So
Yep.
the world changes, and this is the things that come from it. But I like that song. There's a song called Error that came out around the same year, 2021, by The Warning, one of the best bands from Mexico I've been into, and that also has 011011101. So I was like, whoa, you guys are giving me the Warning effect. I want to listen
Yeah.
to more of this, and that's
That's
why I was
cool.
really hooked. Yeah, and so when I
Yeah.
got to the new album, I was like, this is why I know that I got to keep listening, because it just kept getting better. Like your
That's a
music
big
is
sign.
perfect evolution. Just you start out real good and then you get to fantastic. That's all I'm going to say.
That's cool.
Nice.
Yeah, I think the first band that I know of to do the binary code in a song was Flight of the Conchords.
Yeah.
They do a
okay.
robot song. but their binary code doesn't mean anything. It's just
No.
random.
I think Futurama did something like that too.
Probably. So it's culturally important. We all have to do a binary code song, right?
Yes, absolutely. It is necessity that all bands do a binary song.
Yeah.
Binary code song. So the band's first album ever was very attitude heavy, as I said before, but you guys were also using a lot of hip hop flow. The thing about hip hop flow that you have to do if you can actually commit to it and deliver like you did is you have to enunciate every single word. And when I was listening to Kat killing it on the vocals, and especially with some rhyme schemes that I was hearing, I was like, this is something I would definitely praise if anyone else that wasn't in a band was still pulling this off. So props to you as a songwriter and as a vocal deliverer of incredible, sick lyrics. Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm glad that that's appreciated. Yeah, I love lyricism and I love flow. I love old hip hop. I love like everything about hip hop and rap, and I think that it's such an like underrated art form, and it when you can do it to good music, it like elevates into something like so culturally awesome. It's just you just mesh all these things together, and it's like, you know, Blondie she did the Rapture back in the 80s, and it was like groundbreaking, you know, and so that's a big inspiration too, just thinking about how that all went down. But also,
and I think a lot of her inspiration also comes from like the live instrumentation, hip hop and rap, you know, like Digable Planets and like Tribe Called Quest and Far Side, you know, that kind of stuff.
Black Sheep does a lot of sampling, and Far Side does a lot of sampling, but just the way that I think that like things like the Far Side and Black Sheep probably inspired that first album in ways that would be unexpected, because they sample so many and they turn so many things. Like it's just a beautiful orchestra of sounds, and we did a lot of that because it was just two people. We didn't have a band, so
we weren't worried about recreating it. So we would go hard on experimenting with sounds, and like, you know, we would sample ourselves.
Yeah,
like we would write parts and then sample it, morph it, and put it into this. You know, we were doing all kinds of crazy shit. Like,
one of the tracks on the first album has a whistle part that is so off key. Yeah. I didn't know if it was intentional, but I was like, what is this whistle? Where is it coming from?
I wanted it to be off key because Tony, so in that song, that is string theory, and in that song Tony really was like, we should auto-tune this whistle, and I was like, I don't want to. I think it's very strange and we should leave it in.
Yeah, we left it that way.
There's another thing on the first album I love, and we did at 4:00 in the morning. We lived in Chicago in a 3rd-story apartment, and there was birds chirping, robins outside the window in the alley. And when birds are chirping in an alley in the middle of the night, it just creates this very bizarre, like very dissonant echo of birds chirping, like, and it's really strange and beautiful. And we stuck a microphone out the window in the alley at 4 in the morning and recorded, and that's on the song Satan's Lunchbox. You can hear that reverberation.
I did hear that. I was trying to figure out the instrument, and I was like, that's an actual bird. Okay. You guys got to use the morning birds if you live in the suburbs.
That's
you know
what it was.
Yeah, morning birds have, you know, they can bring a sense of regret depending on what you're doing all night long.
Yeah. I think that's
like
what
when
we
those
wanted.
birds start chirping, you're like, oh shit.
That's what I want to evoke with that, is that those regret birds, you know.
Morning birds are more of they sound like owls over by me. I don't know if they're like in mating season this summer, but they were always like
yeah.
I was like, shut the fuck up, I'm trying to sleep.
I know what birds you're talking about. Yeah.
I know them birds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're crazy. But they're also strange. I love that you want to go for strange. A lot of people are afraid to do that. They want to go with popular. They want to go with mainstream. They want to go with whatever is going to make it big on TikTok. And you guys are like, nah, let's experiment and make it as industrial as possible. And just with the instrumentation on the new album, with saxophone, with the, what did you say that you played, Kat?
I'm rhythm guitar, and I also play glockenspiel.
The glockenspiel, that's it. I'm like, what on earth is this doing here? But it also fits so damn well. It's like, yes, please.
A lot of the experimentation on the new record comes in a lot of the form of the intros and outros of some of the songs, where they're kind of artsy, and they kind of go, like, they take you somewhere just in the sonics, like what's going on right now, you know, and then the song starts or ends, you know.
Yes. All right, so let's go song by song of this album, and I want to have the 2 cents from Anthony as well as Adi as well. because I want to make sure that everyone's getting their point of view put together. But I want to know everyone's favorite song first off, because I would love to share mine, and I've been holding back on it, but it's probably a very common one for all the people that have already heard the album and have fallen in love with it. And that is, okay, I guess I'll go first. No, I'm just kidding. It's Again and Again, Again and Again. I love that song.
It's a great song.
Oh, Again and Again's wonderful. Yeah, that's and that came from Anthony. That was Anthony Friedley.
Really?
Production.
My baby.
Yeah.
That's your baby. Okay. Dude, the emotion that I got from the first part of that song, I was like, in the reaction, I was like, I think I'm going to cry. Like,
Yeah.
because it goes completely opposite from what you've been grooving with the whole time. And it just brings you into this like sad or like just completely deep state. And you're like, whoa, I didn't
Yeah, the
expect
combination between the melodies that Anthony came up with and Kat's like vocal is just it's so powerful. And
The vocals made it what it is, though. It's like we had the instrumental, so like my style of songwriting, I guess, is it's pretty poppy in a sense, but it's also like dynamic and emotional. And when writing this, it was we started with, I wrote it primarily on the keys, and then just kind of added 800 layers of different synths and wobbles and stuff on top of that to just kind of make it like very melodramatic. But then we got Kat's vocals came in, and it just made it a song. It added that top layer that it needed. It added like the catchy, memorable words that it needed. It's like, it had to be in a different key than we normally write in. I'd imagine.
Probably, yeah, because the pitch that I chose to go over it is higher than my normal like comfy register, which is down here, and I was like up there.
yeah,
you
you went
know?
up, yeah.
Yeah.
But it made it like more of a pop song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It
Just
did.
like being in, and yeah, so I don't know. I'm honored that we have that track on that album because
That's great.
Yeah,
I
it's
don't
great.
usually.
And
We
it had,
need more
and
from
it
you.
had we need more, and it had hella sentimental value because that was a day. It was just timed up. That was when our last bass player quit, and it was kind of abrupt. And it came out in a text message. We were all there to
actually-
practice.
Yeah, me and Anthony and Tony were all together just to practice.
And I got a text that said, "Hey, I quit," basically, and it was pretty short, and that was it. And I I was like, "Fuck," like, all right, well, now what? And Anthony's like, "Pull out the keyboard, let's write something," and it kind of just like, not, just plowed through the emotions, and said, "Fuck it, let's go, let's just write, let's go."
But
And when
you
you-
captured the
Yeah.
emotion of that situation.
Yeah.
You captured
Yeah,
the
because
reaction.
there's a solemn kind of goodbye
Yeah.
feeling in that song, so it was very appropriate, and so I think I grew emotionally attached to it because of that.
Yes.
So I was able to hook my teeth into it because I was attached to it at that point too as a producer.
It really, when you think about it, it does like capture that moment really well.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's got like that like kind of like sad feeling, but it's also like uplifting. Like
Yeah,
we're
next
going,
chapter.
like,
Yeah.
yeah.
For sure.
Which is what the music video is going to portray as well.
Oh yeah,
That's
for
great.
sure. I can't even wait to do
And
that.
I get to bust a killer solo. I don't really do guitar solos like that in songs where it's like a long-winded solo.
It's the best. Dude.
And Anthony asked me to just kind of do a long solo and kind of have it build and
Yeah.
do. And Kat helped really co-produce that guitar solo because we went through tons of different trials and errors and stuff like that. And I think we came out with this like journey. It was just pretty cool.
It's not an easy task, man. Like I had him give us a solo over 32 bars.
Yeah.
I was going to say,
Not-
it was halfway through the song, which is not structurally, appropriate for like a pop structure.
Right.
So I was like, this is so different. And that's why I was like, did I miss the bridge? Is the bridge coming after the solo? Like, this is so unique. And like, I loved how it did that. And I will go deeper into it as we discuss each track. But Adi, what is your favorite song? I want to make sure everyone has a voice in this room right now. And I know he's far away.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, like for me, I mean, there were like songs that stuck in my head early on, but right now, I think Potential is probably my favorite.
Oh, cool.
And
That's
that
cool.
way,
I
that's
love
sweet, too.
just like I mean, it's perfect for an end song too, but like just like your last drink at the bar, the organ, like I love playing it myself too, and it's just so soulful and like gospel-y sounding. I'm like, this is a perfect closing song. Couldn't have wrote it any better. Like it's quintessential. And yeah, it's just like, yeah, it kind of gives me the chills too, like,
That's cool.
again, it's like, oh, the show's over because it's a song that sounds like that. But like, no, it's like, yeah, it's just, it just like has been hitting home for me lately.
It's
I
like
think.
it's like the message at the end of the book, you know? That's how I feel about that song. It's like, okay, you've gone through this whole journey and it's like this is what you learned.
And that's a heavy Kat Baker written song. She kind of came up with that on her own, like wrote it in like 10, 12 minutes and then kind of orchestrated it in the studio.
My favorite thing about that song too is like, so the idea when we wrote it was like with that da 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 da, like with that part is like, oh, like the crowd will sing it with us. So
Yep. I was saying that actually. I was like, this is gonna be a crowd pleaser.
it was so good. Like at this show that we played last weekend on Friday, we did our album release show. It was an awesome show, and like I got to that part, and like we were all just going at it, the crowd and everybody, and it was just like it was just such a party moment. It was like I'll remember that.
It. The crowd was actually doing it. It was like that whole idea a year or two ago came to fruition. It was really magical. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like I'll remember that for the rest of my life.
And what's great is you guys can play this live. You can add more bars that weren't originally there because the crowd will continue singing. You know, you can be like, one more time, let's go. You know, that's what I love. That's what I love. Seeing that type of.
I didn't think of that. That's a good idea, actually. I'm gonna take that.
Yeah, we're gonna take that.
All right, copyrighted. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so the first song on the album is the first time, as far as I remember, hearing distortion on your music. That is Circles, and I was like, distortion, let's go. That is literally my note that I put on there. It's a great song overall, but the guitar really stands out because of that distortion. What you guys did is probably one of the coolest things I can ask for. You made it rock. And you guys were already rock, but this was like rock.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Yeah, the chorus is pretty straightforward. Just like kind of like.
Didn't I write that guitar?
Yeah. Just straightforward. Like I wanted to go with the tones. I was trying to go with like Weezer tones, like early like Weezer, just real fuzzy, crunchy and real like blocky and straightforward. And it really works for that part. The sultry guitar part is something I wrote in another state when we were on the road playing shows, and I figured out a new chord, and I just kind of wrote a whole verse around a new chord I learned, and so we put it together. So that's where that came from.
Yeah,
I love it.
Probably like the song with the strongest like structuring to it. Like every part is so different.
The pre-chorus is like
it all flows.
Really quick, I want to say what my favorite song was.
Yeah, I was gonna say I didn't even talk about your favorite song. My bad, Tony. My bad.
And I think Anthony too. But mine, it was originally "Sweet Escape" because I had probably the most to do with that song. That was kind of like my baby. And there's wubs in that song, and I'm really proud of that. I've said this in many interviews, but that's the first time I got to put in wubs, and I think I did a pretty good wub job.
I love the wub.
Good wub.
I did Tony's first wubs. Somebody said one
Tony's
time.
first wub.
But and my favorite song now is I can't get away from it. Is "The Needle, the Thread, in the Hospital Bed." There's something that's just in that song that just like it's my favorite song for some reason. I couldn't even tell you why. It just is.
And it's great because it's Adi's first contribution to the band.
Exactly.
So good.
Friendship. Yeah, absolutely.
Those keys are so good on that song.
I said rock and roll, and yes, I already told you guys in the pre-chat, Killer Queen structure. I felt the whole time I was like, this is an ode to Queen. I'm all about it, and it fits somehow. You guys made it fit with your own style, and I was really, really digging that one.
That's so cool.
Very cool. What's Anthony? Anthony's got a favorite one too.
I'm between a couple right now. So like, when making this, I was like, oh my God, I actually like co-produced my first song again and again. But now I'm kind of over it. And
are you over and over it? Sorry.
Yeah.
But I see what you did there.
But I'm kind of tied between The Needle, Thread in the Hospital Bed and Potential. The Needle, Thread in the Hospital Bed actually goes pretty deep amongst this band. Members in it. So that one I feel just like, I hear the lyrics, just knowing that we were all there for it.
Like, we all went through some together.
Like as a band, my wife and I will listen to, and she's like, "Oh my God, we were here." You
know
what I mean? And so that one emotionally speaks to me just the most. Potential also is tied with, really on an emotional level because it's just so relatable. And it's something that I think everybody kind of needs to consider in life because that song it's about, despite people's expectations and this and that. It's just being happy with what you got.
Yep.
And every time I hear it, I can't help but to think of my dogs and think of my wife and where we live, and just like be just so fucking grateful for I have a stable job, and it's like I really couldn't ask for anything else. So those two, and they're just fucking so catchy. Come on.
I was gonna say, musically, you're not really speaking about it. You're speaking more of like a story, and I actually love that you're connecting to it on more of an emotional level. For me, I'm terrible when it comes to reactions. I only hear sonically the first time I'm listening to something. So if I am looking for lyrics, I have to listen at least 5 times before I can make sense of anything I'm hearing. And so, yeah, I'm happy that you can feel that, because you guys have a story behind it that you need to tell, and you're feeling it in your own world emotionally, and it's awesome. I think it's a really good song overall.
Well, we're just lucky that we have a straight up fucking poet as our singer.
Yeah,
it's just like straight. Like, I know I'm biased, but it's like, fuck.
No, 100%. Because I'm the same way. Where like when I listen to music, I'm hearing the instruments and melodies, but I really can't process the words.
Yeah, same way.
But I guess like being here and hearing the songs every week, and on top of that, we have a damn poet like Tony just said. Like this is right here.
Straight up.
So these songs really do hit differently. I mean, I'm biased too. I'm in the band, but
that's true.
But I've been in many bands with many different singers.
Honestly,
there's something. So it's really great.
Everything is real. It's like,
nothing. There's nothing contrived. I've tried to get contrivedness, and she's like, "Fuck off." No, no, it's got to be. She's gonna sit on it. She's like, "I don't have it yet. Give me a week." And that's just such honesty when the words come out. And it's like, I'm not usually like this, but as a songwriter, as a co-writer, and I can't wait to hear it. Like, I can't wait to hear what the words are going to be.
Yeah.
It's because it's never fucking filler. It's like, it all has a meaning and a place,
I will spend significant, considerable amount of time, like the way that most people spend practicing instruments. Like, I will spend that time when I'm writing a song. I will spend, if I have to take an 8-hour day and sit there and listen to the instrumentation of a track or a part, even if it's simply a verse, a 30-second verse or something, for 8 straight hours and write exactly the exact right words, I will do this like with extreme intensity, and I focus on it so much. But like, that's, I think, the greatest thing about this band is that we have like different strengths in everybody.
Yes.
Like, some of us are really strong musicians. Like, some of us like will smoke like your average musician, like no problem. Like, it's crazy. Like, a lot of the band members are just smoking musicians. Like, they just, Tony sings with his guitars. Like, Anthony like always somehow has the perfect transitions, the perfect fills. Like, he just knows. It's so quick, And Audie is like crazy, like on the keys. Like, I can't even barely keep up with him, but I'm trying. But it's crazy. And then Elix, he's a phenomenal bass player. I mean, he's a great banjo player.
He's fantastic at everything.
He's honestly
he ties so much together.
He's like just like really good people person. Like, everybody in this band has these different skill strengths and interpersonal strengths, and we all just really work off of each other. And I think that really is so important for success.
Yeah, your collaboration is contributing to the success of your band. Like, that's how it usually goes. But to praise you, Kat, as a songwriter and as a vocalist and everything, your sound overall like reminded me of like the attitude that you get from that song Cherry Bomb. Like,
yes, I love that song.
Yeah, so it had like that kind of like punk rock energy, but the way that you guys play your music isn't punk rock. So I was like very interested, and like it was strange, but it was exciting to listen to. And that's something that a songwriter like yourself needs to take in. Is that's pretty awesome. I'm a music critic because I listen to way too much of it. I'm not a professional by any means, but I listen to so much, and I want to have this overall opinion that's given to those people that I can talk to. And yeah, what you guys create is fantastic art. So keep doing it. Everybody's amazing. I hope that next time we'll have the bassist as well, so I can give him some praise, because there's one song that absolutely kicks ass with the bass. And I don't know if it was your producer behind it or if it was just his bass skill, but man, I was like really jamming to that one.
Is that Bad Side?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah.
It's gotta be.
Yeah.
No, saxophone. I said funk. Yes, there was one with the bass. Which one was it? Probably Sweet Escape. No. Possibly. I don't know. I'll figure it out. By the way, Kat, what was your favorite song?
My favorite song? That's a ridiculous question. I have no idea. I love them all like my own children. And It's really hard to choose. So right now, this is a weird one. Right now, like I'm really, and it's not just the album version. Like, so this is kind of like a cheap way to answer this, but I love Going Places live. I think Going Places is such a great song because it's almost like part two of a previous song that we had written already in our old catalog called Rat Fight. And they tie in together, and it wasn't quite intentional when we were doing it, but in the aftermath, it's like, oh, they're like very similar songs. They both have a similar kind of subject matter, but very different. And you start off with Going Places, and it like kind of does this funky thing, and it's got this like real kind of, strange but groovy chorus. And then when
Kind of primacy.
yeah, I love that. I love Tony's guitar part when he plays that part live. It's crazy. It doesn't even make sense. I don't even know if theoretically it even makes any sense. Like your greatest theory nerd could not write that guitar part. It doesn't even make sense. But it's
such
perfect.
a good guitar part. Yes.
Yes. And like we go after the song is done, when we play it live, we go into this jam where our bass player Alex is slapping the bass, and like then we go into like then I start playing a rock part on the guitar, and Tony's doing this kind of circus thing, and like Anthony's just fucking banging away.
And then we wind up going into a punk groove, and then we come and we bring it back. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, we bring it back, and then then we pop back up. We're like, all right, here we go, and then it goes right into that old song Rat Fight, and it's just like it's a journey. It's like I don't even know how long that is, but it's some time.
About 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, and it's a whole journey, and I love that song because I think that song is a great sign that this band is growing in a new way. We're creating these journeys throughout the songs.
And you're going places.
Yeah, literally. So meta.
And then the chorus of Rat Fight is I got to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
That's true. I didn't even think about that. Okay.
Yeah.
So Rat Fight was one of the weird ones. I was driving with my brother. We were coming back from shopping today, and I was like, I'm not gonna, ask an opinion of first time listening to any band is hard. But at that moment I was just like, is he gonna ask me to turn it off now? Like, is this the weird one? Or is this just like another normal song on this album? But the production kept me listening. Like I was already going to, but I was like, yeah, no, I'm fully in for the ride here. And so you're the man, Tony. You're the man.
Well, I am. That's the one thing I'm very proud of. Yeah. And like what Kat was talking about earlier, like everyone has like their contribution. Like everyone has, it's like where I do kind of lack in any place as like a singer or a guitar player. It's like I make up for it in the production. It's my love. Like I love engineering and mixing. And I've been doing it for a long time.
He's the best in Chicago, man.
Yeah, straight up. A lot of guys know this. I live with him, so I can tell you, like a lot of guys, like they watch sports, they play video games. Like Tony has no hobbies. He has nothing. He does nothing else. If he is bored, he will sit here and he will just mess around with stuff on the Pro Tools. Like that's just what he does all the time. He has no other interest. He's obsessed.
That is a great thing to have.
Well,
as
now
a
that
producer.
I sound fucking deranged.
No, as a producer, that's huge.
No, I know.
That's
huge. I consider Pro Tools more than a DAW. It's an instrument for me, and I really, the amount of things that I attempt and try that just get thrown away is like hours and hours of content.
Yeah, there's hours of stuff that no one will ever hear.
Yeah. So as a producer, I just like things to be palatable and poppy and could wind up on the radio. Other than that, let's get fucking weird and like let's get strange. But like there's always going to be a pop sensibility in these songs that make it palatable, because I don't want to, like I love pushing the envelope, but you go too far, then people aren't interested.
Yeah.
So it's just there's a balancing act there, and I think we're getting really good at it.
Yes.
As a unit,
Yes. Okay. So Again and Again is my favorite produced track. I was actually looking at my notes, and that was also my favorite bass part. So I was trying to figure out where I gave him so much praise, and that was it. It was the vibe switch on that. There's so much changes, but either way, let's go through the whole album song by song again. I'm gonna go back into Circles. So Distortion was added. Blah 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 blah. What do you guys love about Circles as the opening track? I mean, it hooked me in, and that's a really hard thing to do. Like you got to get me from the first track. That's how I listen to an album.
I mean, for me, like I love that guitar part. Sold me when I heard Tony playing it. He had just been like learning a new chord, and he was practicing. We were staying at this like haunted Airbnb in Pennsylvania on the side of a mountain. It was really weird, but like Tony was like practicing guitar. It was like this huge mansion type It was so strange.
It was weird, but
I can't even explain. But it was a cheap Airbnb. I got a steal on it, and it was definitely haunted. And Tony was playing this do 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 do, and I was like, "That's so cool." And he's like, "Oh, I'm just playing around with this chord that I learned with this guy. He works with this guy Richie Davis, right?" And Richie is the one we were talking about earlier, who's just like very great guitar player. He's on a ton of stuff, and Richie taught Tony this new guitar chord, and he started playing it in different places on the neck, and he figured out this riff. And I love that guitar part so much. And the coolest thing about that song is that Tony wrote that song inspired by Richie, and then we got Richie on the song to do some leads over it. So it was like he's on his own homage song, which is awesome and cool, and that's just like sonically just like so smooth, you know.
Yes.
But it's weird that she's talking about the melody part, and I'm going to talk about the lyrical part where that seems reversed, because like I think lyrically it was a huge pivot for Kat, like and being vulnerable, and what the subject matter is and what she's actually singing about. There was a lot of shit going on, and there's always shit going on.
Yeah,
but it's
that's
like
life.
And she was just like, she got a lot out with that song, and I thought it was really, really productive and therapeutic, and I hear that a lot of accountability in that song too, and it's like you don't hear that a lot, in music.
Yeah. Also, the one thing that I can say is that was like the sing song kind of thing, because I was hearing a lot of spoken word and a lot of like rap core kind of thing. And when you first started, this one was like full on singing. And I was really impressed with that. I said that in the reaction as well. I was like, yeah, this is something I did not expect, and I'm excited to see where it goes. So, like I said, from a first track, you got to hook me in and you got to keep me going. We go on to the next track, which is What You Wanted. I call this one a smooth and easy, fun ride, super relaxed. It's very interesting. You go from a heavy distortion to a nice, relaxing tune. What made this one come together?
That original riff was written, I think I just found the original file, I think in 2019 or 2020.
Yeah, but it never sounded right. Like,
Yeah.
we couldn't get it to sound right. We tried it. We literally, this song it's
changed keys.
We've changed keys 100 times. We've changed speeds. We've re-recorded it 17. There's literally 17 files of different, and we didn't have a name for it, and it was just, and
it's funny because it's a real simple riff. It's really nothing like majestic. It's just it's got a little
yeah.
pop
It
to
needed some smoothness, and I think that Anthony's drums like really brings like a natural feeling to this idea that we had, which is what we were always missing, is this really natural push through the song. Like, it's so important, because otherwise it's too choppy.
Yep. And that's where I love Anthony's contributions, because I have a tendency, I come from the early 2000s when everything was quantized perfectly. Everything is just fucking blocks, and
call
it's
it
like
Rocky Block Brain.
Yeah, Rocky Block Brain, grid brain. And it's like you just like stripping stuff of the soul, and it's like Kat has helped me tremendously get out of that and let Anthony have it, and do it. Then the rubber comes, and that's where it becomes like more organic.
Yeah.
And it's very important. It's so important. It's more on this record than any other record. And that's what one of the biggest thing that is different about this record than anything else we've done. So we can come back to that. But, I think what really makes this song great is the contrast of the poppy, flighty, like little bubble, like cloudy kind of melody with Kat's like destructive lyrics. Like, these lyrics are really like about the sadness of America.
God, my life is so depressing.
Like people are like, is this really what you wanted? Like, that's fucking harsh, man.
Yeah.
So I love that contrast. I always do.
Like, it's like the message is softened by this fluffy music, but it's like, is this what you wanted out of life? It's like asking the listener,
That's the exact same thing I got from Potential.
Yeah.
Like, I got that same vibe. It's just this softness to it, and then you were so aggressively honest.
Yeah.
Which is kind of your Attitude Era returning, but it's not with that same type of delivery that you had originally. So I was like, okay, I like what they did there, because originally I thought again and again, I thought that would be the perfect final track, just the way that it was going with the guitar solo going.
Yeah,
I think I considered that actually. No,
yeah, it was good. It
and
was
something
really good.
I think that was the plan until Potential was made.
Yeah, I think so too, because it definitely had that feel.
It was the second to last song we did.
I think
Potential
so.
was written right before. Needle Thread was the last one. Needle Thread in the Hospital, but it was the last song we wrote. But Potential we recorded. I remember even like we went to an Earth Radio show like at Morgan Manufacturing, and We were like
dancing and
we,
stuff.
me and Anthony and Tony, like before we went to that show, we were like working on Potential. So I remember
That's
it.
right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
And really quick, I want to add What You Wanted. We practiced it, we played it live, and it just wasn't working until we got this guy. And all of a sudden, What You Wanted started sounding great live.
Yes.
And it was what he was contributing with the bells, piano, whatever he's doing. It just really makes it a really pretty song live. It really works now.
Yeah.
Adi is
Adi.
a secret weapon.
Yeah, thank you. Oh my gosh, that's great.
We
Little
all
does
have
he
a-
know that was a big part of the album. Yeah, that's huge. This is a song where it's a little softer, and so you come back into the rock and roll territory with the next track, and that's The Needle and the Thread. And the thread, and I put threat. Why did I put threat? Spell
Needle
check?
and the Threat.
Yeah,
Cool.
the needle and the
Yeah.
threat.
That's
the
my new
needle and the
band.
thread in the hospital bed. I love the longer, metalcore-ish type of title. But I
Yeah.
really like that actually explains more of what the song is about. Now, me as a Sonic listener, I'm not understanding the lyrics the first time, but like you said,
Well,
it's a breakdown
difficult.
kind of song. It's very hard to listen to, especially for you guys that have emotional and memories behind it. I love that. I love that you guys have so much impact on yourselves when you're listening. That's how you know it's a great song. Overall, I just think it is a return to rock and roll that we need to have in 2025. And
Yeah.
I was having a great time jamming with it. And like I said many times, it reminded me of Queen. And anytime that happens, you know you got a great song on your hands.
Oh, that's
That's
awesome.
cool.
What you're hearing in that song is the most difficult time in our lives as a band. And like, I don't know, like that's just going to sum it up. There was just a lot of shit going on.
There was a lot of uncertainty. You know, The Great American Struggle came as a title after that song was completed. And we didn't even have an album title yet. And through the 2.5 year process of like writing the album, recording it, and then like getting ready to promote it, it took about 2.5 years in total. And like we all went through so much in life, like so much heavy stuff happened. Like good things were happening, bad things were happening, like things in between, you know, and we were all just like kind of like just struggling through it, you know. And I feel like The Needle, the Thread, in the Hospital Bed was a song that really, like, you know, to go and not into too much detail, just like kind of explains that you should just sometimes you just have to like just let go and
Yeah.
let life happen sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes it's good to just let it happen.
Yeah, what I could summarize what you're trying to say is that it was a very overwhelming period of time. Like you were just,
Yeah.
you were
Exactly.
overwhelmed with so much on your plate, and you put so much on yourself, and you had to hold it up on your shoulders. And instead of that, you said, "Let's let go of it. Let's take this weight off a little bit." And this song, overall, creating it probably was just as hard as everything else that was going on. But the final product, you can feel that release that you were going for.
That's great. To
Yeah.
hear. I love that.
The song was actually a reprieve. The songwriting always is a reprieve.
Yeah.
Love it, and I think both Anthony and Adi said that was their favorite. So you know that this is a no. Wait, Adi said Potential.
Potential.
My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
My favorite. It's my
Your favorite, Tony. My
Yeah.
bad. Yeah, that's a great song. So now we go into the song I thought was going to be my favorite of all time, and that
Me
is
too.
"Sweet Escape,"
Me too.
which is not a Gwen Stefani cover for people that are asking right now. It is no connection to Akon either. I was terribly disappointed. No, it's actually one of my favorite songs because it is groovy, it's poppy, it's modern disco at times.
Yeah.
You have your wub wub dub dub, whatever you want to call it,
There you go.
and it's a rock pre-chorus, like the rock and roll pre-chorus. It's like hard rock almost with the tempo change and things, and then it goes straight into this like super sweet dream state for the
Yeah,
main
psychedelic.
chorus. Like it is one of the coolest structures I've
Yes.
heard in music this year.
That's fucking awesome. Yeah. That's all very intentional. Yeah. That was it. Yeah. You can almost like draw it out like a storyboard for a movie, you know? Like the setup and the pre-chorus and then the climax and then coming around doing it again, kind of thing.
That's Tony's opus on the record.
Yeah, that's my baby.
Yeah, he was like, I
accidentally
plans.
hit the wrong delay pedal one day at practice and turned it into like an eighth data note or something, and it was just I hit these chords and I was just like had one of those moments. I looked at Anthony. I'm like, oh, this is a fucking song. Like I got this. And we played it. I recorded it on my phone for like 25 seconds, and then from there I just structured it out. And
Yeah.
went to town.
I love it. Do you guys usually start with the production instrumentally or vocally? Do you add the vocals last, or do you do a certain part of the instrumentation first? Is there a guitar riff that usually runs everything, or is it more keyboard?
But things are changing, recently. But like a lot of guitar riffage, a lot of times Ken and I'll come up with some meat and potatoes.
What happens a lot of the times with mine and Tony's relationship as like songwriters and bandmates is that we're hanging out all the time. We're together all the time. And one thing that happens a lot is like I'll be doing something and he'll be like just noodling on the guitar. And I'll just be listening. I'll be like doing something else, but I'll be listening and I'll be, I'll hear him like hit something and I'll be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'll be like, okay, that right there is really cool. Like
That's
work,
cool.
work
That's
that out.
Whenever you say those words, that's cool. That's where I stop.
Yeah.
Like, okay. 'Cause I'll be playing guitar for like 3 hours, and I'm like, and I'll do something. I'm like, really nothing. I'm waiting for her to say something, and then like I'll get to something and she's like, "That's cool." I'm like, "Okay, that's cool." And then I'll hone in on that because if the music moves her, then I know that there's something there.
That's my tagline.
Yeah.
That's
cool.
Cody Alma's final go. Mine's that's cool.
That's cool.
Put it on a shirt.
Yeah, seriously.
That's awesome. That there's a tell that you have that you've created a word or a phrase that makes it so that he has identified it as a hit maker. That is awesome.
That's so
cool.
when we're jamming this new album, because we're gonna start writing immediately. I think it's only natural. So when you guys hear me say that's cool, just know there's a lot of enthusiasm.
Yeah, there's like there'll be lyrics coming through that.
Yeah.
That's all the hype in the world from Kat. I love it. All right, so next track we got is Bad Side. And that one is the strangest, jazziest song you've created because it has saxophone included. Is that a Barry sax or an alto sax?
That's a Barry, but I think it's a Barry. No, it's an alto. I'm pretty sure.
Alto, I think.
But the guy's so good that he octave down with a pedal, and then he also tightens up and makes it sound like a trumpet. So we have almost a horn section. Yeah,
yes.
We tracked a bunch of him, and
so
he killed
good.
it. He absolutely killed it. That's the pivot in the record. That was very intentionally placed where it is. That's supposed to be a pivot in the record and like kind of shift, And it's on the vinyl. It's the last song on side A, so it kind of ends that story, and then the next side of the vinyl begins.
Gotcha.
So, and that's a shout out. It's a big shout out to production people in production. If you listen to the lyrics, it's about the sound, like a sound engineer, somebody working in the venue, like at the door. A DJ, or some sort of entertainer, and then the last one's about like just kind of like the rocks, like the singer, like just kind of like an ass,
Yeah.
So
Kat shouts out all of the crew that is putting
there's not
together
many
the
songs
production.
about it, and it's like I think, but Kat doesn't make it cryptic enough to where if you don't know that information, it kind of almost sounds like a Cake song, where it's like, what is he talking about? Like the man in the back, like it's like it almost sounds like cool.
Like you can kind of create your own scene from it.
Yeah.
If you didn't have that info,
It's almost a ballroom blitz kind of situation, Like you go by description.
I feel like that song is such a good example of how we can all just come together and like put in. I feel like that song we all came to the table with 125%. Like every single member of the band was like, okay, we're just gonna go really hard on this one, and it's so intense, and it's so fun to play live.
Well,
too.
It's funny because that guitar riff that's in it, I wrote it slower, and I thought it was going to be more of like a second version of Circles, because they had these kind of like these chords, and it just started speeding up, and then Alex came in and just kicked the door down and put that bass line down, and I was like, okay, it's like a totally different
I was like,
when Alex could play that many notes and be that busy but not get in the way of the singer was just phenomenal.
In fact, sometimes he could play that much stuff and he looks bored. He's just like,
now he does. Yeah, he's like, whatever. Kudos to Alex. Kudos to Alex.
Cool. He's such a cool guy.
Yeah, he killed it on that one.
Yeah.
He sat there for about 5 hours and did it all in one session.
Yeah.
Super skilled guy. All right.
Yeah.
So you guys are going places as a band, and the song Going Places has already been discussed, but my opinion is that this is the ultimate 70s groove and funk that I could hear from a modern day band. I remember hearing my grandfather talk about Walter Murphy and going to like the Rhapsody in Blue, that jazzed up style of that original classical masterpiece. And I got a lot of that same vibe when I was listening to Going Places. So I was really, really happy. I said, Walter Murphy has returned in 2025. Let's go. So.
That's awesome, man.
That's
Well,
cool.
what did we originally say? It was like some funk meets like Fiona Apple or
Yeah,
something
somebody
like that.
said that like early on.
It was just like, because like, yeah, we were trying to do this thing, this like hybrid thing where it had like some rock in it, but I wanted to go street funk on it as hard as we could, like
Yeah.
in the beginning. So.
Especially live, that one gets really funky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the extended outro that we do that we were talking about that goes into Rap Fight. It's like you gotta, man, like between like Adi and Alex, and just gives me a lot to do on the drums. They're going nuts, and it's really cool.
Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of my favorite things to do live.
Me too. When
Yeah.
we get to that song live, I'm so pumped.
Yeah.
That is so good to hear. Like, seriously, like there's so many people they're like, I play to play. And I'm like, why
not
would you
us.
do that? Just fall in love with your experience that you're giving just so many, new fans and diehard fans. Like they're experiencing the fun that you're now feeling with your own music. Like this album is an experience, and everyone should be able to listen to it live at one point in their life because it just sounds so damn good. And also, you guys are just talented beyond belief, and the way that your chemistry works as a band, you guys are just going to create more and more of this. And that's what I love, is that you're already at your peak and you're going to keep going. Like you said, you're not going to stop writing anytime soon. And so you're just going to give us even more great stuff. We go on to the next track, which is called Mad But Nice. I said this was a return to form of your first style. And then I said it has a new groove and a bit of a This Much Is True guitar thing where it's like, ding, 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 ding. Like it's just that song from Sky High and older movies as well.
Yeah, I know what you're talking.
And it's just like that very old school guitar, like pinch. I don't know if you can call it a pinch or just the way that you strum it. It's very that ding, ding, ding. It's just got tingy, and I liked it. I liked listening to it, and it brought me back to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could also say Earth Angel part of Back to the Future.
Oh, Tony loves Back to the
it's my
Future.
favorite
Ask
movie.
him
That's cool.
anything.
Anything.
Ask him anything.
I will
He
answer
knows
any
it.
question in Back to the Future 1 or 2.
Right
Scott
behind my
Bonham.
head, my friend.
Yeah, there you go. I can answer anything from 1 and 2. 3, not so much, but 1 and 2.
All right, well that's good to hear. We will definitely discuss movies by the end of this then, because we had a lot of pre-discussion that you guys can check out in the Patreon. One of those things had to do with a movie that we all grew up watching, and I did not know this information. So now that I do, it's going to fascinate me to tell you guys about it later. But let's go back into the tracks. We got Mad But Nice. I said this one was so fun and a return to form. Do you agree with that statement, or do you consider this one more of a modern take on your specific genre you've created?
Mad But Nice is like a totally from scratch track. Like I can't remember how it started, but it's totally from scratch. We kind of came up with it somewhere in the middle of the like when we were writing the album, and I don't know.
I know where it's my take on the song Kiss Me. Kiss Me.
Yeah, similar guitar style.
The guitar chords.
Didn't even pick that up.
So I just went
That's what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're just
That's what you're familiarizing.
And it's just muting
But
it.
then by the fourth chord, it's completely different. You know, like it's just kind of like that. That was just something I was going off of, and it just felt kind of like interesting. And then the chorus just totally takes a left turn and kind of goes back to the classic Broken Robots kind of like rock style.
Yeah.
You know?
And the vocal style is definitely Broken Robots as well.
Oh yeah, it's all cat. Yeah, it's totally.
That's back to
our own
what we're known to hear from you guys, and I really like it. I like that you mixed new with old, because that's the way to actually evolve as an artist.
Right on.
Back into the incredible song Again and Again.
Yes.
I put Funk has taken a rest. Emotions have entered the chat.
Yeah.
The best
I
bass
love that.
production and best vibe switch. Guitar solo halfway through. Genius. Very modern song. Very impressed by everyone and everything used. New favorite song.
It's great.
It deserves to have radio play. Honestly, I think this is the one that I would love to hear streamed on like Sirius XM or something of that sort. Get more people into this, and they might not love everything that they've heard from the beginning, but just hearing that you can do this, then you can pull this off. And with Anthony's style and choice of writing and everything that he's doing structure wise, I think this is going to make you guys blow up a lot faster than a couple of the older tracks. But this whole album as a whole is just a perfect complement to your overall like, talents. You know, every single one of you has something that you're bringing to the table. You said you all contribute something. You all have your strengths, and you're showing it 100% here. This is a 10 out of 10 for me, like something I don't usually say for new albums, especially by new artists. I'm always like, you know, they have room to grow, but I'm like, nope, this is it. This is their peak. And like I said, you guys are just, you're going to keep killing it from here. This is where you just start up and take over the entire scene, whatever the scene is that you fit into. Yeah.
I want to be like King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard and have like 5 million songs.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do.
Yeah,
That's a little quantity over quality, though.
I appreciate all the kind words over the album. I'm excited for us to start writing more with this guy.
Yeah.
Because Adi joined in later in the album's production, you know. So the next album will actually have his mind, you know, helping to create these songs too. Which
yes,
is,
and Adi,
you can see even the next chapter now in the new stuff.
Adi will take
beyond this new stuff.
Anything emotional that you write, and he'll add so much more with that piano behind it. Like there's just something so deep about
I was gonna say, I take that back. I always feel bad playing, and I'm like, oh, why can't Anthony just play drums and piano? Because I'm not doing his song. I'm not doing it justice. I always feel I'm like, I'm playing the melody wrong. I already know I am. He's pissed off.
No.
No, I mean, like we touched on a little bit, like different influences. Like, yeah, like I was jamming at an open mic night. I'm in a jam band with Alex. Like that's where I grew up. Like, just kind of free formed and not having the pop sensibility or any songwriting. Like, oh, we'll play 3 chords for 25 minutes and we're all having a good time around the bonfire. Like, I can do that, and that's my comfort zone. But then I was so excited to be able to, like, you know, be with these guys now because it's challenging where I'm like going out of my comfort zone and thinking a lot more about the bigger picture. And again, like, how is this serving the song, and how can I fit in? I never played with the lyricist. I never had anyone that sung. It was just a bunch of guys. We didn't know girls that even sung. Like, it was never a thing.
Yeah.
So it was instrumentals, you know, and just jams and sharing solos. And then, so now it's like, I feel like I'm growing more, you know, playing with these guys and hopefully, you know, giving myself different type of training and different practice, something that I haven't been exposed to really. So it's like super refreshing. It's like, it's challenging for me, and it's super fun.
Yeah.
And I hope some of, like, you know, what, you know, like Anthony said, rubs off on everything else, you know, and kind of see what, how the melting pot, how we be stewing later.
Yeah.
And it's perfect timing because, like he was saying, where he feels he had not shortcomings, where he feels like insecure versus secure. I feel just in the opposite end.
Exactly. We're like
I'm more insecure with the jam element.
Yeah.
I'm more, you know, structure, formula. Fucking here it is. You know, this is a song. You know, it's 3 minutes 38 seconds. It's perfect. You know, like you know, that kind of stuff. And so for him and I to have polar opposites, like that really pushes each other. It's great because then I learn from him and he learns from me, and it's like, you know, it's going to propel music.
Yeah,
really.
and there's also 3 songs that are nearly 5 minutes on the album that I did not expect. So you were just saying 3 minutes 38 seconds. It is true that you guys are expanding what you know as your comfort. And here's the thing. So as jam bands are very popular, they're also known as one of the greatest you know, styles. Like jazz came from freestyling and improvisation, and that's, you guys do have some of that as well. I talked about it on the reaction, but like that's going to be needed for live support. So
Yep.
Adi, everything that you bring to the table when you like go on as long as you want, like I was saying, just add extra measures, extra bridges, extra whatever you want to do. You can play around with that, and you're going to give that live sensibility so much more life than it would have been had they just stayed within structure. I've been
100%.
a huge fan of Toto in Chicago. Like my whole life, Chicago started me to get into music. Like that was the band that got me interested in everything. Like that was the first thing I ever heard was 25 or 624 on the If You Leave Me Now Greatest Hits album. And it just like influenced all of my thoughts on everything I listened to from that point. But like Toto, the jam band, you know, not praised for the best thing of all time. To me, they are, but like they're known for jamming, and they bring it every single time, especially live. Like their tracks can go on for 10 to 20 minutes if they wanted to, because
Yeah.
I'm grown a big appreciation for Toto. I just watched the Yacht Rock documentary on HBO recently.
Yacht Rock?
Yacht Rock.
I have to watch that.
Yeah, no, it's excellent. It's all about Toto. And I didn't realize Toto was just Africa, you know. But,
Yeah.
oh no, they were like ripping musicians, and I'm like, oh wait, no, there's a lot more going on here. It's not
That's
just
a good song though.
voting
Yeah.
like geriatric, you know, dad music. It's I mean, I love Yacht Rock already, but definitely watch it.
Yeah, I actually have to now because I'm a diehard fan of Toto. I just saw them last month. I was super excited to see them. Their crowd was dead, so you know they're all old people, but like it was like no response until Africa started, and then everyone was like, "Oh, we gotta wake up and get excited." And I was like, "Why couldn't you do this for Rosanna or Pamela?" Like all the other shows that I have all of them on Blu-ray, and whenever Pamela starts, it's just like, "Oh!" And then it goes right into that incredible groovy riff, and it's so fun. It's supposed to be a fun song, but like the crowd is dead. I was like, shit, this is not what I wanted from my first Toto experience, but they're incredible live. Joseph was above and beyond, one of the best of his nights that I've heard, and Steve Lukather, the king of all kings when it comes to that band. You know, he's been in so many other groups as well. You were talking about keyboardist that's been with super groups and everything. Steve Lukather is literally on tour with Ringo right now. He's going with him around the States and doing their whole his big band tour, I guess you could say. And
Nice.
it's awesome to see that collaboration, but like he was killing it that night too. So there's just a lot of talent that comes from a jam band that needs to be more appreciated by people that are so structural. So, you know, you guys all have your best parts, and as Kat pointed out, your strengths are showing in every single part of that. And that's why, you know, again and again, even though it's way late in the album, is going to be a hit. It's going to hit so hard, and I hope that the streams become like #1 for this song, for Sweet Escape as well. I just feel like that those two, of course, deserve it, and I think Potential could possibly have that potential as well. You know, pun intended.
I think all.
I want to see Potential like in a commercial.
Yeah.
I just see it. I don't know why. I just see it, and it would fit perfectly. Like I remember, like when I was younger, there was like commercials for Plenty of Fish, the dating app.
Oh,
website.
the background music.
Yeah, and their background music, like there was a song by a band called Amos the Transparent, and they ended up becoming one of my favorite bands for like 5 years.
That's great.
Because of this Plenty of Fish commercial.
I am so glad it wasn't like the what is it, the White Stripes or whatever that was taking over like cell phone commercials for a while.
Oh yeah.
Like you only heard one thing, and it was like, oh, I'm very tired of this. There's a song that
Yeah.
plays in the lobby every day at work. I work in a hotel, and every time I hear it, I'm just like, God, not this song again, because I think of cell phone commercial. That's all. That's all
Yeah,
it makes me
right.
think of. But okay, so not to skip over and over, because Over and Over is a very cool song. I love the group vocals and the vibe. Super produced acoustic track. Like that is one of the most overproduced, and that's not a bad thing.
No,
Just
it is.
perfectly compressed type of track, and the acoustics on that, beautiful, man. Like holy shit, you made it sound like we were talking about Red before. Anthony and I both love that band. Their like ballads are like really well known to have that type of production on it, and you killed it on that, Tony. That was awesome.
Thank you. You know, the glitchiness and all the sheen and all that stuff. That's all very intentional to try to take away from the traditional folk songs.
Mhm.
You know, that are acoustic, and it's like it's supposed to put you kind of in a contemporary futuristic kind of like mind state with like an old folky kind of like acoustic thing that's happening. You know, with the drums like there's like this delay thing happening. I wrote that riff when I was like 19 years old. Like it was a very, very old riff. The original name for the song was actually called Resuscitate, just because I was like, oh, we're bringing it back to life. You know, this song that I did, and it was kind of like the closest thing. I would never say it's filler, but it would be the closest thing to the filler song on the record. But it was something for me. I was kind of selfish about it because it was something that I needed to get out of my system. And call it dead. It's over. It's gone now. It's out there.
Mhm.
Because that song's been lingering around in my ethos for, you know, over 20 years. You know, and it's like it had different meanings at different times in my life. And it was always an instrumental. And so I never thought it was actually going to be anything. I played it one time for Kat and she wrote lyrics immediately for it. And I was like, oh, okay, shit. You know, like now it's going to be a song, I think, because like that's really good, like what you did there. And, you know, I already know what's his name from the Gorillaz kind of stole the thunder with the Omnichord, but that song was all originally written with an Omnichord. And I was like a hell of an Omnichord player back in the day. I'm not going to lie. So like, and Kat's trying to find a refurb one for me so I can bust it out again and mess around with it. But that was, you know, that was kind of just one of those things that I had to get out, and I didn't know if it was actually going to become a song or not. And then when Kat put lyrics on, I'm like, yeah, it's gonna be a song. And I think Kat went more of I don't want to speak for her, but like an endearing route lyrically on that. There's a lot of imagery in there, you know, talking about a cardboard sign and stuff. A lot of it's about when we first met, you know, the nights, you know, of like fast food, you know, and drive-throughs and stuff that, you know, don't mean much to many people, but sometimes like when you're in the height of love, it's really intense, you know, and you just like these memories are like, you know, they're just burned in your head. I don't want to speak for you. I was kind of getting into your lyrical content.
On over and over.
Over and over. It was kind of like an endearing kind of.
Oh yeah, there's the first, you know, I talk about bringing roses to shows, so you know that I always mean it when I say it. I just keep falling over and over. And that's referencing sometimes when Tony works at Murders, I'll bring him single roses at the end of the night. Yeah. Little things, you know, drive-throughs, fireplaces, drive-throughs, those little moments that you build together over time. And that's what love really is.
Yeah, little tokens are actually extremely important for anybody that's in a relationship that has been with your person for a long time. I can say that the most important thing you could do is to remember it feels like dating the first time always. That's the only way you're going to have a successful relationship.
No, and I love where it's placed in the record too. You know, it's right before Potential. So she kind of like spills out her guts a little bit there. And then it's like, we have Potential.
Then it's the release of Potential. You know, yeah.
The release. All right. So let's go into Potential. Now, you were already saying it was basically a commercial success by saying it was reminding you of the Plenty of Fish commercial, Anthony. For me, I've seen so many movies, and I think that Tony will pick up on this real quick. I think this belongs in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh, okay. That's cool.
I think James Gunn would totally fuck with this track. He would figure out a way for a scene to work with it. Like there's something
to hear it. I agree. It's a matter of getting these fuckers to hear the song.
Yeah, we gotta get them the songs. How do we do it?
If this were to be one of the things that you could put into a cinema score, I think that a lot of people would come back to it. Like that's how good it is. The thing is that it doesn't fit the other parts of the album, and that's what people could be turned off with, and that's why I thought Again and Again would be the final track, and that this one was going to be like an interlude or a bonus. But I was also very impressed by the end of it because there's so much going on vocally, like so much going on. It's ringing in both of my ears. There's this pan going on at the same time. Your layers are insane. There's so much layering. There's extra vocals. It's all group stuff. Like you guys are all part of it, and you know you put it all together as a band, as a family that you have created through the music.
Just that like lower octave where she's like talking.
Yeah, it's awesome. Awesome song. Like really, really cool. And so I'm like, okay, it deserves to be at the end. But like, I feel like it would fit in a Guardians of the Galaxy scene. Like they did that weird version of Creep that wasn't the Radiohead version as far as I know.
I just know what you're talking about. I think I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
I can think of being in a movie like that. It's very much like the biggest anthem that we have.
Yeah.
For sure.
Of all of Broken Robots music, Potential is like the anthem.
Yeah.
I'd say.
Yeah. Oh, and the theme that I got, because I actually did listen to the lyrics on that one because it was the end of the end, so I had to kind of pay attention at times, is the theme, Don't Tell Me How to Live My Life.
Yeah.
Yes.
100%.
Okay. Gotcha.
That is it right there. Yeah. It's, you go through life and a lot of people they're trying to tell you what to do and what to be and what will make you happy and don't do this, do that. And I think in the earlier years of my life, up until I was about 25, I snapped. When I met Tony, I snapped. That was how we met, actually. I had snapped. And up until about 25, I was living my life where people would be like, you should do this, you should do that, well-meaning people, like, oh, you need this safe life, like, don't, waste time with music, and, just settle, in life. And to a certain degree, I understand, like, settling because of safety, like, you want to be safe. But if you're too safe, you'll wake up one day at 25 and say, who the hell am I? What am I doing? Like, why am I here? And I'm not even happy. Like, I've worked too hard to be miserable, and that kind of song really came from that place, like waking up and realizing, like, oh, it doesn't matter what other people think. And I wish they would just stop telling me what to do, because I went, I'm 33 now. So it's been almost 8 years since then, since I was 25. Mm-hmm. And it's like all these years later, I decided to listen to myself. And the only times I've ever been miserable in my life ever since then was when I stopped listening to the inner voice inside of me that told me, like, this is what you should do, this is what you want to do, and I start listening to these exterior voices.
Yes,
that's when I become unhappy, is when I don't listen to myself. And that's really where that song, I just hope that when people hear it, they get that message. Like, don't listen to other people, listen to your heart, do what you got to do.
Yes, but listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to
yes. Yes.
But I love everything about the song. I like that you guys are so involved in it, and I love that you guys promote it so much, because it is a softer track. It has a lot more of the tude that you had originally. It just culminates everything that you are as a band. It literally makes Broken Robots their overall title. That is your title track, your anthem, as you said. It's very fitting at the end of everything. And I really love how it goes from such an unique and very I could just say vulnerable delivery straight into something that is so damn catchy that everyone can sing along with.
Yeah, that was the funnest part about that song, doing like the final ending of the album release show, and that song just being so well received by the audience. Like, that was everything I imagined it to be. It's like, really, I feel like we got to get a live recording of it just so we can play it. Like, yeah.
Get the crowd singing.
Yeah.
So great.
So we had a couple of random guests that stopped by while we were all talking. We had a little puppy that was adorable, and now we have a kitty cat.
Benji and Jerry.
Any other animals that are just gonna pop out? This is gonna.
That's all of them. It's a circus over here.
I was just waiting for like an iguana to just start walking on the shelf behind you or something. Some turtle just like.
The animal just wandering around.
Yeah, that's
a ferret.
Benji, our dog, and Jerry, our cat.
I love it. They're very sweet. Both of them are very quiet and tame, and that's my type of animal. They don't.
Oh yeah.
They don't cause
that's
a scene.
Not quiet all the time.
Benji's kind of a tweak.
Jerry, he complains. So that's cat. I've never heard a cat complain. Man, yeah. I've never heard a cat complain like that.
He sounds like one of those old actors with a cigar, like yeah.
Oh, I love it. Oh my gosh. Speaking of acting though, speaking of Hollywood and everything, we were talking about the movie Holes, out of all things. You had a collaboration with somebody who was part of that project. They were the brother of the director of that film, you said? That is insane. How did you end up meeting this guy, and how did he end up collabing on the album?
Well, I work with him. He has a band called the Chicago Cats, and they do a lot of events, corporate events, and like weddings and stuff like that. And they're all stellar players, like 12 people in the band. They've all done jingle work. I guarantee you've heard him on the radio. When jingle work was still a thing, before AI got involved. But so I'm an audio engineer by trade. That's like my profession. So I work for him. I run the sound for the events, and through that we developed a friendship and a kinship, and I've learned some stuff from him, on guitar and things like that. And that's he's always, since the first time he heard anything from Broken Robots, he turned his head. He's like, "That's you guys?" And I was like, "Yeah," and he's like, "No, that's not." I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's Cat singing?" Because Cat does production work too, and Cat's there, just like lifting gear and kicking ass with the guys, and then he's like, "That's her singing that song," I'm like, yeah. And so every time we'd have a new one, I'd bring it, you know, to the next gig and play it, you know, and the PA when I'm tuning the room and stuff. And he's like, "There's another new one, another new one."
Yeah.
You know, he's just like, "You guys don't stop." He's like, "How many fucking songs you guys have?" I'm like, "Almost 40 now, you know, all together."
Yeah.
Completed ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's become a fan, and he was like, you know, please, if I can play on any of your records, you know, just I would love to come by. And so yeah, we picked a day. He came by and just hung out and brought a couple of his, you know, strats over and just sat down here and just played. And it was real chill. It wasn't like real like, all right, now go. I just let him jam over the song like 5 or 6 times. I recorded each time and then just cut it up.
Yeah, and it sounds nearly perfect. It sounds like it was intentional and made for be there. So, as
Yeah.
we were talking about before, the jam style, freestyle is, you know, being introduced and also, you know, adding to everything that you guys are already. It's enhancing you as a band, and I love
I,
it.
I agree 100%. And the challenge too, Kat and I really thrive on challenge. I don't want to speak for anybody else, but when we give us a challenge, like we'll step up and it's just going to make us better. So I like with Adi in the band, that's a challenge. You know,
Yeah.
and I love that challenge.
He's
you know?
already bringing new stuff to the table, and it's wildly different from stuff that we write. And that's like I'm excited to figure it out. You know,
Because at the end of the day, it will be Broken Robots. You know, that's that thing.
that's what makes
That's
it Broken
you know,
Robots is you bring all these like things together. You don't try to sound like one thing. You're just like, okay, what will work with this? That'll be
we'll
cool.
make that shit cohesive.
Yeah, we'll
Just
make
watch.
it happen.
Yeah.
We'll make it make sense.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. You were talking about Back to the Future before. Is one of the best
Let's
franchises
go,
of
homie.
all
Let's go.
time. So what got you into film, man? What is one of your
Well,
favorite
film.
films?
I've always loved acting. In fact, I was in a movie called Rookie of the Year. It's a baseball movie
Yep.
that was made in the Midwest out here. They shot it at the Little League field that I grew up and played on. And so they did an open casting call of like, you know, I was like 12 years old at the time. And Daniel Stern was the director. He's one of the crooks, the criminals in Home Alone, the curly haired guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he was the director of that movie. And they did an open call, and I got picked to be a base runner that runs from first to third base. And I mean, I just remember they did about 40 takes of this, and I was just exhausted, but I gave it my all every single take. I ran all the way around, you know. And Daniel Stern actually called me back at the end of the day, and he wanted to talk to my dad, whoever was representing me. You know, I was an
Yeah.
extra, whatever. He goes, "Hey man, this kid's got a lot of like gusto, and like he's in it. Like he might be an actor. Like we're gonna have. You mind if we call him back?" My dad's like, "Sure," you know. And they called me back to like Oak Lawn and Oak Park, where they're doing some other scenes later on, you know, and stuff like that. And I just fell in love with it. That was really cool, a lot of fun, you know. So years later, a good buddy of mine in high school, his name was Frank V. Ross. He made a lot of movies, and they're indie movies, and I was the lead actor in all of them, like or almost all of them. He made like 6 or 7. I was like the lead in 4 or 5 of them, and we worked really close together, and it was just a great way to express myself. The first one I was in, I was terrible, and then I learned, you know, and I kind of went method, you know, on stuff. You know, it was just like
You would become the character.
yeah, I kind of become the character, kind of like, you know, kind of like I would be that person for like 2 or 3 months, you know, like that kind of thing, you know. So I really, really loved it. And then, but music was always my number one, you know. And then I would also do all the post audio production and all the audio shit for the movies and all that stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff like that. So, you know, the acting wrapped up when I took a left turn and took a bad path in the late 2009 or 8 is when I fell into some drug addiction, and I just kind of disappeared for
A really weird thing about our lives is that we didn't know each other, but we both fell into hard drug addiction the exact same year. And then I got out of it and then came back around to it when we met.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
So
The
it's
timing
like
of things
very
are
parallel
very bizarre.
things. Yeah.
That's
And
fate.
yeah, and I was destroying myself and ruining my life kind of thing, and I really kind of gave up on stuff. And then that's when I met her, and you know, I turns out I just really needed a friend. That's really what I needed. I didn't realize it, you know, because the friends that I thought I had in my life they're pretty toxic.
They
and
just
they
wanted things.
You know, they wanted resources from me, you know,
Oh.
like whatever I could provide, whatever I could do for them. And then once I ran out of resources, people just didn't want to be my friend anymore. And it wasn't clicking in my head what that meant, you know.
Yeah. And then
Kat met me at my worst part of my life. She wanted nothing from me. And that was the first time I've ever experienced that, you know, where I was like, I don't have anything. I literally have negative stuff, you know, like, and it wasn't about that. It was about it was about the connection and the friendship and the understanding. And we both kind of shared the similar pain that we didn't realize until later. And so, it could have been a disastrous, codependent, toxic relationship that went in the fucking shitter, but it didn't.
Yeah, I mean, let's
It has at times.
It's been like that.
Things happen.
We're not perfect.
Things happen. Shit happens.
This is our public persona. Like
things can get rough. We're both kind of fucking crazy, but
it's fine.
It works out.
Yeah.
Hey, hold on. If you're gonna say you're both crazy, I gotta grab this.
All right.
Do you think that your crazy matches his crazy? Is that a thing? Do you think that's the situation you're part of? Yeah. Your crazy matches my crazy.
Oh yeah, it's like puzzle pieces,
Yeah, there you go.
Well, Cat likes to call it we're interdependent. We're not
interdependent.
Interdependent. But here's the thing: you were surrounded, in just summarizing again, because this is how I do it. I like to just go from what I've heard. You're saying that you were surrounded by selfish people. And you finally met someone that was selfless. They were not pushing anything towards themselves. They were just trying to help you, genuinely and honestly trying to help you. And so you finally felt that friendship was able to beat whatever the addiction was going through. Like you were so deep in the hole, and you got out of it through that.
Yes, and I needed something like that was genuine. And like as the band grew, with Anthony and then even Alex and even Adi, like I'm very cold at first because I'm scared, and I have a hard time trusting
betrayal trauma.
Yeah, and so it takes me like literally fucking years to like trust people.
Yeah,
and it's like, but now I feel like since we've experienced things together, we've gone through stuff together as a band. Like I finally feel like I got the band family that I always wanted, because I always wanted the band to feel like a family.
Well, that's
at the end of the day, more than just like let's rock out. Like it's like when we get together, I love rocking out, but like when we get together, we kind of check in, and it's almost like a therapy session, And sometimes it gets out of hand, we forget to practice. Like we gotta go, And it's like, but that's really important to know where everybody is, where their head is right now. Like how is life? Life fucking is up and down, and it's like that's so important. And then we go into the music. And remember like why it's so important, that's that kind of thing. I've always wanted that.
Yeah.
Dude, that's why you're such a good audio engineer, because you actually have the human touch as well as the music touch. Like you understand, like they would ask us all the time. I wanted to be an audio engineer myself. I went to college for that and failed badly because I don't like testing. But all the hands-on stuff, and they would ask us questions and give us like these scenarios, and it was like, what would you do if someone was just this ego diva, they just can't figure out how to make their sound exactly like whoever they want to sound like? What would you do? And I was like, I'd probably pull them to the side and I'd be like, hey, so you've been trying to fix yourself on this specific person or this specific idol that you've had forever. Why don't you try to make yourself into that idol instead of trying to mimic another? Why don't you say you are going to be the next big thing? And he's like, you would actually bring them to the side and stop the process? I'm like, absolutely. If there's no actual hospitality, what are we going to accomplish here? They're just going to be all about whatever they hear in their head as perfect recording. So no matter what you make, they're not going to be happy until it sounds exactly the way they want. So you got to give them this ego boost, but at the same time, this realization that you don't have to be the next whoever you're in love with. Like that doesn't have to be you. You can do whatever you want and I'll make it happen. So like they like that personal touch. That's why I work in hospitality, because I have a people thing. But I love to hear that you've connected with your band and you've made a Bamily, and that's coined by my friends. Sorry, I have a hat for them. Scarlet Siren, they're over in California. Really great band.
Yeah, just keep popping things up. That's great. I love it.
Also female lead and incredible people and just great musicians. But it's just like you need to have that. It is a therapy session whenever you go to a practice. You should be able to be honest, and you should never feel scared to speak up if you don't agree on something. That's what I've heard a lot of people is like someone takes the lead and then tells everyone else what to do, and that ruins everything. So
that's not what a real leader doesn't tell everyone what to do. Like a leader is a person who steps back, lets everyone else shine, like really helps mold people. And I feel like in this band we all have our own leadership roles a little bit, like where we all like, if somebody's slacking, like we have gentle ways of letting them know without being like, you suck, like we're gonna fire you, like it's a lot more like, let's figure out what's going on here and whatever. Like, oh, if somebody needs a little break, all right, let's back off a little bit and come back around to. And it's just like,
What I
That's-
found as a pseudo band leader is instead of pointing the finger, if something's not working, you just put what's not working in the air and let everybody individually consider it.
like a democracy.
Like, are they part of it, or are they, are they enhancing it? And it's like, let them figure that, because that's trust, and everyone is good enough in this band to fucking figure that out.
Yes.
Like, if I'm like, the turnaround in this part is like, this is not happening right. It's like, it's not fair. Like, I'm not saying anything. It's this, that I'm like letting everybody know if there's something happening in that moment that needs to be worked out.
That's true. You do a lot of that.
And so then that way everybody can take accountability if they're part, like I said, a part of it, or if they're, you know what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah.
I'm getting all fucking spunky now. I'm getting all excited. I don't like. I just like get back to life. We're talking about production.
Yeah, you
No,
just have to talk
it's
to you.
it's good to be spunky. It's good to be happy. It's good to be, proud of everything you've accomplished, man, because you've been through some shit. And
So proud.
people that have been through shit should actually be more open to the idea of, letting go and being happy. It's time. Finally, it's time. You've been through all that sorrow. You've been through that struggle. And this is over. This is why you're here with me, man. Like, I want to promote people like you to get you out of that funk ever. It should never come back to your mind. Let's get you out of that. Let's get you on stage. Let's get you in front of everybody. That's all that I care about.
Appreciate you, man. That's great. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's awesome.
Of course. And thank you guys for being here. Like, this was a great chat after all the Wi-Fi issues. I'm
Yeah.
really happy that it worked out.
Yeah, it's all good.
It happens, but I'm really happy that we talked tonight. I'm really happy that I got to hear your story and your overall perspective as artists and as a family. And I really think that you guys have something special. And as long as you're all together, I think there's just more magic that you're going to create.
Thank you.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us
Thanks
on.
for having us.
Yeah,
A big
thank
shout out to Elix, our bass player. That's not here. We love him very much.
Who, if he was here, he would correct you on Family and change to Jamily because that's
Oh.
his.
Yeah.
Jamily. Hold up. That's actually cool too. I might tell Scarlet Siren about that. Okay.
That's the first thing I
Jamily.
thought of. You're like, yeah, she calls it Family. I'm like,
Jamily.
our bassist says Jamily.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Is that like the group chat you guys are in, the Jamily?
No,
That's what it should be.
That's what it should be. Yeah, no, it's more so. It's like us and all of our close peers who all play music.
Gotcha.
Yeah, everyone's a part of the Jamily. You know?
Yeah.
I
Like, you're
love
here
that.
now. You're a part of the Jamily.
Yes.
Yeah, you're here.
I'm in the Jamily. And I'm local, so I don't have to drive thousands of miles to see you. All right. Once again, thank you guys for being here, and thank you guys for listening. If you were here for the entire chat, you're an absolute legend, just like these local legends here. Once again, Broken Robots, one of the best bands that you're ever going to listen to in 2025. Check out the brand new album, The Great American Struggle. And please stream everything that they've ever created, because it's all in a playlist that I made easily for you to find in the description right down below. Along with that, all the links for every single person in the band, as well as the band account itself, will also be there. And these guys already have 3,000 followers. That's not enough. Let's get them up to 3 million followers by the end of this chat. If you guys can tell everybody that you possibly know that there's a great band out there that everyone needs to listen to, I promise I'm going to be promoting nothing but the best, and I will probably bring them on for everything that they release moving forward. All right, guys, thanks again for listening. Thanks again for being here. All of you guys are absolutely incredible. Anthony, thank you for being my cousin. That's what I got to say, man. It's
Hell
so
yeah.
great to have a great musical cousin and have that connection, bro. And of course, Tony, Kat, and Adi, you guys are incredible, and I really hope that you see that in yourselves now. Even if you are more modest about things, I think that you guys are superstars, and you should always be seen in the spotlight.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us, Dan.
Yeah, thanks for
This
having
is
us. It was
awesome,
nice
man.
talking to you.
Yeah, thanks, man.
Great to meet you guys, and I hope to see you on October 11th. I'll make sure
Yeah,
that my
buddy.
schedule lines up.
Can't wait to see you, man.
Yeah, it'll
Awesome,
be great.
awesome. Perfect. All right, guys. Well, have a great one. This was an amazing chat. Everyone, I hope you had an amazing time with this, and I hope you have an amazing day, and stay safe out there. Peace!